Hi, welcome to this next Oracle video on setting up the database to replicate control files, turn archive logging mode on, and to multiplex the redo log as well. I'll start off by logging in, and this video follows on from the previous videos I've done where Oracle XC has been installed and then restored on Ubuntu. So the first thing I'll do is log into SQL Plus. And we can have a look to see what control files we currently have. So select name from the $control file. So we currently have one control file. So what I'll do now is shut down the database, copy the control file manually using the file system command, then start the database and alter the system to replicate the control files. So let's just move to this directory, and we can see we've got our database files there and our control file. So the first thing I'll do is copy the control file, so control01.dbr and control02. I'll use the same location for my multiplexed files as like the single file, but when you're doing this in a production environment, you would want to keep at least the second copy of the control file in a different location, on a different disk, essentially, so that you could still access it, even if this disk or server is not available. Oops. Let's just do one and do the other. So we can see we've got the two control files and they're currently owned by root, so let's just change that. So now we're ready, we've got 3 copies of our control file. We'll get rid of this one afterwards, but we'll use these 2 going forward. So let's log back into SQL Plus. I'll start up but won't run the database for the system and set the control files. So this path, and then this file name, and then the same again. Copy this one. Let's just use that 2.dbr. Just missed off the scope equals sp file there. System is altered, so now we can shut down the database. Now I'll remove this control file. And go back into SQL Plus again, and we can just start up our database. And then if we select name from the $control file again, then we can see we have these 2 control files, control01, control02. Obviously in the production environments, at least one would be in a different location. So the next thing we can do is replicate our log files as well. So I'll just set up a couple of column types. And set the line size to be wide enough to fit them both in. Now if I select group and member from v$log file, this will show me the current log files that I have. So the next thing which we can do is if we just show parameter the recovery destination, and we can see this is currently in app Oracle fast recovery area, which is the same path as here, and then show parameter. So there's quite a few. It's a bit difficult to just get the specific ones that we want to see, but essentially we want to change these two parameters, create online log destination 1 and online log destination 2. So that's for the active logs. Because these aren't set at the moment, then the default destination. Because these aren't set at the moment, then the default destination is the DB recovery file destination, which is why both of these log files are in here. And at the moment we have two log groups, so one will be active and the other one will be ready to become active once the other one is full. So the first thing we'll do is set the online log destination 1 and 2. Here. And we just need to specify up to the fast recovery area. The database will append the instance ID, online log, and then the actual log file name. And then the same again. Similarly, like with the control file, in a production environment, you would want to make at least the second destination on another disk or on another server. In both cases, to be able to recover the database, you just need one copy of the control file and one copy of the current log files. So the next thing we can do is add another log file, which will be our third log file group. So, and I've specified the size as 100 megabytes. Because we've already got a log file group 1 and log file group 2, then the next group, without specifying the group, then the group will become 3. Next we can drop group 1 dropped. Now we can re-add group 1. So this time I've specified the group number. Now when we try to drop log file group 2, because we've added group 3 and group 1, group 2 must be in use, so we'll get an error message here which says that we can't drop that file. So all we need to just do now is cycle through the log files. Because we're not in the archive log mode, then the log files are just cycled through and none of them are archived. So really, at this point, you would want to do a backup of your database. So the database I'm using hasn't got anything useful, blank database, so I'm not too worried about doing the backup. So to switch log file, alter system, switch log file, which will take me to group 3. Do that again, which will take me to group 1, then group 2, which took a couple of seconds longer, and then we'll just switch again. It should take us to group 3 again, and now we should be able to drop log file group 2. And now we can recreate it again. Group 2 size megabytes. So one thing which I'll just mention is, because we've set the destination 1 and destination 2, the database knows that we want to multiplex the log files. So now just go back and select the group and member. So now we've got do that again, one. So we've got two files in group 1, two files in group 2, two files in group 3. And if you had these in different destinations, then one of each of these pairs would be in the other destination. And then the final thing which we need to do to set ourselves up to be able to back up the database whilst it's online is to change the log mode to archive log mode. So we can check what mode we're in currently. No archive log. So to change this, we just need to shut down the database, then start up and mount it but not open the database. Then alter database archive log and alter database open. And then again we can just check our log mode. And we're now in archive log mode. So the important bit after this, which I won't do in this video but I'll do in the next video, is to actually start using the rman to back up the database in online mode, and that will clear out archive logs which are older than the last full backup done using the rman. If you don't use the rman to do the backups, well, if you don't do anything past this point, then the logs will get archived each time there's a log switch, and those archived logs will just keep building up and building up. They won't get cleared down at any point, unless you either do it manually or use the rman to perform the backup, and then you can specify the retention policy. So that's it for this video. Hope it's been useful for multiplexing the control files and redo logs. In the next video I'll restore a database that's been backed up in online mode using the current log file, the archived logs, and the rman backed up database.